Hello, everyone. Welcome to Word Funk. I am Leon Thomas. I am joined by Austin Yorsky and Johnny Maloney. Guys, how are you doing? First of all, sorry that there was no show last week. It's all my fault, and the reasons are not interesting in the slightest. It's just technological stuff that is entirely my fault, and that's it. There's no like fun reason, like a spy broke into my apartment and like stole it, and then wiped the original copy. It's just stuff. And I'm sorry.
You've just worked on computers professionally for like 10 years, and you still haven't quite got the handle of it.
No, it's not even that. I mean, the real reason is like just really dumb, and it has nothing to do with like my technology failing. I failed.
The good news is that last week was a short episode, so you really only missed out on 66% of the normal Austin, Leon, and Johnny that you would have gotten. So
there was a couple of good jokes, but I think the thing that WordFunk historians will mostly miss about it, like the part that will lament, 20 years in the future, will be the part where Leon and I cyber-sexed Johnny for a long time. There was like 5 minutes of it.
We flirted with Johnny. We told a few jokes. We talked about how there is no ethical consumption under capitalism.
And how the American government overthrew a South American nation for bananas.
Yeah. And I think I complained about gloves for a good 40 minutes or so.
Yeah, what was that about?
The spirit seized me.
There's a good question about what cyber implants we would get. That was fun.
The spirit wore me like something that fits very snugly around like a hand or something like that, and then just like manipulated me like I don't know what. The word escapes me right now.
And so TLDR, it's sexy when you say, "Hey, big boy," but it's not sexy when you say, "How's my big man?" That's what we figured out. It took like 10 minutes, but we got there.
I still think that if somebody just like straight out just was like, "Hey, average sized person of your genealogical construct in history, what's your deal?" I'd be like, "No, what's yours?"
Oh. I don't have topics so much as I have anecdotes. And one is just,
anecdotes.
and one is just a complete failure, so I'll start with that one. So I bought a communist newspaper the other day, and
don't you know that print is dead?
And not on purpose.
Hell yeah, I love this story.
So what happened was this. I went to a rally, and there were some people there, and one of them walked up to me and said, "Hey, you want a copy of Revolution?" And I said, and I was thinking like, Revolution? Yeah, that's the kind of shit I'm into. I said, yes, I will, old man, sir. And he's like, here you go, and you can make a donation. And I'm like, oh, sure. And I gave him $2 because that sounds like more than what a newspaper costs. So I felt like that was generous. And then I looked at the front page, and it said it is the official newspaper of the Communist Party of America. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, that's not how I'm registered.
So you went right to the top and didn't even buy one of those knockoff communist newspapers. You were just like, nah, give me the official shit.
Yeah, I mean, I got it. I mean, it is mine. And when I got it, I was like, first of all, what the fuck? And second of all, I don't want to carry this around for the next couple hours that I'm going to be here.
I'd say for the next 3 years, it's probably a bad idea to carry that around.
Yeah, so I ran across the street and put it into my car, and then I ran back and continued being a little angry about stuff. But here's the thing, like after I got back and started thinking about it, I'm like, oh, this would be interesting, because like when Johnny gets like a copy of like the Watchtower, he can like read the headlines, and those are just hilarious, and sometimes the articles themselves are also funny. But like the headlines themselves are just out of context, very funny. So I'm like, oh, well, now I have like a communist newspaper. This will be great for WordFunk. I can like read it on the air, and like something will be funny. Maybe they'll make a joke about Karl Marx or something, and but now I read it. I mean, I skimmed through it, and it's just like headlines like Trump is bad, and stuff that
Newsflash.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's, I mean, it's a little more like intense than the average newspaper.
Can I ask a quick question about it?
Of course.
Is there a classified section in the communist newspaper?
I have not seen one. It's mostly. It feels very editorial heavy.
Mm-hmm. And what about its bulk? Is it like? Would you say that it's like of relative size to other newspapers that you have?
All right. First, that suggests I have read other newspapers.
I'm sure you've seen one. Like
I've seen them. Yes,
film.
in movies. Yes. There are 22 pages to the communist newspaper Revolution.
And is this something you could comfortably hide behind, wearing a hat and shades while sitting on a park bench, say, tailing somebody?
Yeah, I mean, not
or
if I want to.
Is it more like magazine-sized? Is it more check out this fall's color, it's red?
It feels like a newspaper, but not like the big Sunday edition.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Another interesting thing about this newspaper that is also not interesting about this newspaper is that I don't find there are no ads, and I'm like, someone's gotta, I mean, is everyone afraid to advertise their wares in the communist newspaper? I mean, how do they even make money? I guess from donations from poor schmucks like me who don't read what the newspaper is before they bought it.
Well, Leon, this is why I'm asking if there's a classifieds in the newspaper, because I sort of feel like having a buy and sell section in the communist newspaper would be a little off-brand.
Oh my! Well, look, I mean, I basically it just feels like a lot of editorials, and I don't know. The point is, it's not funny, so there's only so much I can mine out of this. But something funny did happen to me that I can actually talk about. So I live across the street from a church, and next to the church
what
is
denomination?
Oh God. I think they're Catholic, and then the Protestant church is like 2 blocks away. No,
okay.
Not even that. They're really close. All right. It's like there's a Burger King and a McDonald's across the street from each other.
I get you.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, there's a church near me, and right next to the church is a youth center, and there's as you would expect, youths hanging out in front of it all the time, and they're actually very nice. Like they're not like the kind of teenagers that are like shitty to strangers. Like I'm their neighbor, and they're like nice. They basically leave me alone, and I leave them alone.
Right.
Sometimes they play music, but it does not bother me because it is far enough away from me that I can never hear it in my apartment. Mm-hmm. But I did go outside the other night into my car, and someone was playing a song, and I couldn't hear all of the lyrics, but the lyrics I did hear were this. And then I put my dick in you. Now, I could have Googled that to find out who sang that song about dicks and who in who it was supposed to be. But I thought it would be funnier to talk about it on the show, and also because I don't want to Google that. As I imagine, like, this person writing this song, and he's like, how do I express my love? And then he comes up with a bunch of metaphors, but they all sound kind of trite and overused at this point. And then he's like, fuck it. And then I put my dick in you. And that is how the song came about. I don't know the context, but it sounds a little aggressive.
I think it's certainly in the vein of Barbara Marquez.
I was waiting for it.
Seminal work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that our genre of music? Is that the official genre of music of word funk? Dick-related pop anthems?
You'd think it'd be funk, but I don't know what we're doing here anymore.
Yeah. Does anyone recognize that song? Again, I could Google it, but I thought it'd be funnier to ask.
It's like half of songs, Leon.
Right, but like specifically that line. I mean, there are a lot of songs like I want to take you tonight and things like that. This was like all that, kind of, like very the things that are very obviously about sex and penetration, but are not like explicit and in those word combinations.
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite. That's my favorite Talking Heads album. Is songs about sex and penetration.
Okay, I mean, I then all right. I'm actually going to look this up on the air, but I just feel like I'm just going to get porn. So
it's a little outside my my established listening habits.
You think I was joking, but that's just literally could be any number of songs. Like, songs are just going there these days. We're not in the Barbara McKay era anymore, where it's scandalous. Just like, boy, give me that dick. Like, everyone's just getting the dick now. It's fine.
Okay, here's what I found. There is an artist named Crud Bump.
Fuck off.
Not just a regular kind of bum.
Right, and it's not exactly that, but I don't know if this is it, but there is a lyric in his song, "Put My Dick on It," called "First I ask permission, then I put my dick on it," which I think is really nice.
Hell yeah, crud bum. Get into that consent culture.
Yeah.
What is happening?
The second result is from Molly Cyrus, who I don't know if that's different from Miley Cyrus. Can I just quickly
say, does Credbum, does he mean like that's the first thing I do is ask for consent? Because I feel like there are several steps that should lead up to that point. I'm super proud that you do ask permission beforehand, but if it's first...
It depends what he looks like, right? Like, there's a certain level of, like, attractiveness, so that's fine.
I guess so.
I'm just going to show you what he looks like. Yeah. I'm going to show you what he looks like.
Thank you.
This is what he looks like.
I hate this
show. So, I don't know.
It's a what? It's a fucking neckbeard? I thought it would be like a fucking Lil Wayne looking guy. Okay, I don't know. I guess that's on me. I made assumptions that I made an ass out of me.
Yeah, the first is not about the dick. It is and I'm gonna read the lyrics to you now. I'm getting all wet. She told me in the rain, which is that's a double entendre.
So this is in media res too. Like a lot of steps have preceded the beginning of this song.
I hear it all the time, and yet I can't complain. Let me take your coat. Don't want to drip on it. No, thank you, 'cause you're gonna put your dick on it. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what this guy's up to. The next one is from, again, Molly Cyrus. I don't know if that's a joke on Miley Cyrus.
Of course it is. Leon, you can't possibly be this old.
Right, but like, I thought it was either a joke on Miley Cyrus, or the website is making a joke about Miley Cyrus and just calling her something else.
Molly is a drug. It's a joke.
I know.
Okay.
I know that.
Sure you do.
The lyrics from Molly is also different. I'm gonna put my dick up in your ass, and it ain't coming out.
Oh no,
it ain't. It's stuck.
Is it like a cat, or is it barbed?
See, this is a problem, because it seems like he knows beforehand that it's not going to come out. And I kind of feel like this is that situation where the Chinese finger traps things, where you're like, no, I got this. Don't sweat it. And then 4 hours later, you're in the emergency room like, help.
I feel like this is a mutually assured destruction thing between the three of us, where the first person to mention nodding loses.
The lyrics, in case you were wondering, to this song right before the thing I just said was, "I'ma put cocaine in your ass." Ha 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 ha.
What?
I don't think that warrants a laugh. That's not that funny.
I'm gonna put cocaine in your ass. I'm gonna put cocaine in your ass. I'm gonna put my dick in your ass. Put the Molly in her ass. Put the Molly in her ass.
Well, he's got a theme at least.
Yeah, I mean, look. There's a lot of stuff about Miley Cyrus in it. Like, one verse goes, "Fuck Billy Ray Cyrus. I'm your daddy now. I'm gonna put my dick in your ass, and it ain't coming out."
I get it. It's okay. Here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't find the exact thing that I thought I heard, but I found far worse things.
Also, I've looked this up now because this is the life I'm living. Molly Cyrus is the song. It's a song dunking on her by an artist.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Named Stitches.
Yes, his name is Stitches. I apologize.
That makes a little more sense.
Does it?
For a second there, I thought that Molly Cyrus was singing a song about Molly Cyrus, and then I was like, this all sounds very physically improbable.
I was just saying I'm looking this person up now. I really wish we weren't here in our show, but we are, and so I'm just doing the due diligence. Stitches is from Florida, so my bad. This one's on me, guys. And none of his albums or songs have their own Wikipedia pages, which is not a good sign of success usually. Although, I mean, he has one. He is 22 years old.
It sounds to me like he's still searching for his voice.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he want to take it out? I mean, that just seems like I don't get it. Like,
I guess there's a certain Buddhist Zen goal of recognizing when you have reached like your ultimate ambition and being like, no, this is where I'm supposed to be. I should learn to be happy with what I have, and then not get anxious or berate yourself for not achieving more.
Okay, now I'm doing a deep dive on Stitches now. His real name is Katsabanis. On January 25, 2017, he was arrested in Miami on felony drug and gun possession charges. When police stopped him while he was still in the car, he handed the officer a joint and denied there were any weapons in the vehicle. What a fucking power move. Sorry, officer, you want to blaze it with me? Get in, dude. We're just going to hotbox this entire car. It's fine. Upon searching the vehicle, officers found a Glock 19, 1 pill of Oxycontin, and a mason jar full of marijuana. My dude, that's not the best way to store it. You gotta get baggies.
1 Oxycontin?
1, yeah.
1.
Mm-hmm.
That was just for fun, just like dessert.
Well, I mean, there is a theme to his discography. His albums include For Drug Dealers Only, which I assume I'm not allowed to listen to, Tales of a Drug Lord, Cocaine Holiday, and I Need Rehab. So there's an arc.
Yeah, okay, all right. But check me out a second here, okay? All right. So he's maybe a drug dealer.
At least until 2017.
If you go to Stitches and you're like, I would like to buy some OxyContin, please, Stitches, and he's like, yeah, I got 1.
Maybe he just had a really good day. He sold the rest.
Or alternately, he's got 38, and a guy's like, no, I only need 37.
Yeah, or he just kept 1 that you have to leave 1 for Jesus.
I would like to believe that when the officer pulled him over, he recognized him from his musical talents and concerts and said, so are you going to put cocaine in my ass? And then it's just like, oh, shit. It's kind of hard to, if the officers Googled him, they would have a lot of, suspicions about what was in his car.
He has an AK-47 tattooed on his face.
Oh, on his face.
On his face.
I hope it doesn't go off.
Leon, it goes off every time he spits rhymes.
I'm just,
oh my.
This guy doesn't seem like a great person. I don't think he's going to be my personal role model going forward, but he turned out to be way more interesting, because this started off as someone wrote a mean song about Miley Cyrus. What a dick. But it's that's just one song.
It didn't even start off like that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's backstory to this conversation, but I'm saying he started with clearly he loves drugs, he sells drugs, he's carrying drugs at all time, he's offering drugs to cops, and then his last album's called I Need Rehab. I just want to acknowledge that I hope he's trying to turn his life around and trying to become a more positive force in the universe.
When was that album published?
So he was arrested in January 2017, and the album came out in 2017. So after, I think.
Probably.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the wake-up call.
Maybe. Or maybe he's literally just the worst person ever, always and forever, and we shouldn't commit to anything in case he kills someone in prison.
Look, I don't have any strong feelings for Stitches. I want that to be clear.
Yeah.
I just happened upon him via Google and probably mishearing lyrics.
Yeah. I'm absolutely certain we have not identified the song you heard.
No.
I just hope he's happy wherever he is in life. Just finding yourself.
I want to someday be so committed to my aesthetic that I could do something like offer a cop a joint. I guess I'm white. I could probably, come out of that encounter fine. But it feels like something you only do when you're just so at peace with who you are And I'm kind of jealous of that.
Okay.
But
how old is this dude again?
What?
How old was this dude again?
22.
Okay. I feel like this is more like I don't feel like he's reached like the peak of who he is. Actually, I think it's more like he just doesn't get anything yet. Like he's in that like age where he thinks he knows everything but doesn't know anything.
I'm still this Wikipedia page is like 2 paragraphs long, and I'm still finding bangers in here. Katsubanis' wife reportedly entered a concert early due to the singer providing audience members with drugs. So was he just like throwing OxyContin into the crowd, and then his wife was like, "All right, we gotta shut this shit down." What is this? That sentence?
That's how you hook them. You get one for free at a concert, and then you have them for life.
So you're saying his entire career is just like a PR campaign for his actual hustle, which is the drugs?
I don't know, because if he's going to rehab Austin very seriously, then...
Well, this was before.
Yeah, I know, but now, right? That's quite a turn.
I don't know, because here's how I feel about this. I mean, think about it. What do you think makes him more money? His almost non-existent rap career, or like the thing that everyone buys?
Okay, sorry. This is the episode now. Apparently, he was doing a show in Florida, and on stage he said, "I've seen some people on Instagram saying this shit's fake," referring to drugs he does during shows. And then he invited 4 female audience members up on stage to do the drug with him.
Okay, so if I was his wife, I would have shut that shit down too.
It looks like, the article goes on, the first woman in line got her fix before the whole episode concludes with Stitch's wife shutting the show down. She can be heard off camera yelling, "I'm gonna fuck that bitch up." Holy shit, she's cool too!
I don't know. How cool could she be if she's married to Stitches?
Stitches looks startled and immediately told fellow members of his group we're done. He then abruptly walked off stage, and an audience member off camera could be heard asking, "What just happened?" Fuck. I'm like, who
is recording these shows?
People at the shows. That's the thing. Okay.
I thought for some reason when you said like this was being recorded, I'm like, for the DVD. Like,
no, people just film concerts. I mean, there's almost certainly like a 99.9% chance that this dude is a total piece of shit. But in the 1% chance, like 0.1, that he turns it around and becomes awesome, and they make a movie about him someday, I want to be an extra in that concert scene. That sounds amazing.
It's important to have goals, Austin.
Yeah, sorry. That's kind of what I am. I want to be, I want to be close to the interesting, exciting people in life. I don't want to be one of myself. That sounds like a lot of work.
Okay.
That explains why I'm friends with Johnny, because, he's gadfly, popular.
Am I?
Yeah, everyone loves you, Johnny.
Am I?
Yep.
Literally everything in my life is like someone is like, "Is Johnny going to be involved? Like, what's Johnny doing? Hey, can you ask Johnny this for me?"
I'm sorry. Austin, you deserve way more credit than people seem to be giving you.
I'm mostly kidding. But no, I actually do get a lot of like, "Oh, is Johnny coming back to Dice Funk?" Like, "Oh, ask Johnny for me." That, like, a lot of the questions are specifically addressed to you. So. I don't even know where I was going. I just got really excited about Stitches.
I actually had a lot of people kind of come to me on Twitter this week and be like, "Hey, I just listened to season 1 of Dice Funk."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Hey, thanks."
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess you're turning new listeners into old listeners.
Yeah, I think what's happening is like as the show is getting bigger and bigger, people are starting in like season 3, and then they're getting to where we are, and there's no more to listen to, and then now they're going back and starting at the beginning.
Right.
So yeah, it's cool stuff. Dice Funk is a lot right now. It's like extremely, extraordinarily good, but it's also what's the word I'm looking for?
Extra.
It's a bit extra. It's just like there's a lot, right? Like somehow we took a turn, and now like the episode that's going to come out a day after this episode, like abruptly turns into a like heated discussion on the right to die, and I wasn't prepared for that.
Oh.
And now I'm just looking at my computer. Like this season alone I have 160 pieces of fan art in my season 3 fan art folder. Like
hot dang,
people are digging it. It's good. I'm very proud of it. It's just also a lot of work. It's very stressful. I'm glad people are enjoying it though.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Woo!
Those are my major topics for this week.
Yeah.
I had I had one that was nothing and one that just turned into something. So I'm glad I contributed, but those are like the main things I did recently that have any interest to the audience. So if you guys have a topic, I will hear it.
Austin?
Unless you still want to talk about
You always
Stitches.
have topics.
I mean, I do want to talk about Stitches more, but we probably should move on. They uploaded the second half of Little Witch Academia. Did I say that right this time?
Yep.
All right.
Nailed it.
Thank you. I know you hated the way I was saying it before.
A lot.
The plot is finally here in this, because the first half of the season, the one that was uploaded to Netflix, was just like fun friends at magic school, and now it's like stuff's actually happening, which is exciting, and it's mind-boggling that Netflix withheld the actual story. I don't want to get too much into it, except to say that I am really digging the way they bring quote-unquote real magic into it. I realize that's a stupid thing to say out loud. Traditional magic, like what people believed was magic,
like Crowleyan.
Some of that, some like Kabbalah-ish stuff, it's just like symbology of it.
Some McDonald's.
There's a lot of stuff. I don't want to get too far, because like some of it's plot stuff. Because I
guess that one's only funny if you remember that their slogan used to be "Do you believe in magic?"
I did not, but now that you've told me the point of the joke, I really like it.
Yeah, so that was my moment of wasted time for the show. Everybody, enjoy it. Take it home with you. Show your mom. Tell it to your grandkids.
I love it.
That one's going to be real valuable in a couple of years.
It's a collector's item. But this is a good transition, because the other thing I watched on Netflix also felt like half a season, and it was the third season of Voltron, which was like 20 minutes long. What up? What's happening? Did you guys watch?
Yeah, well, that's me agreeing with you completely.
Yeah.
When did it drop? When did it come out?
Like last week.
Oh, then I have not seen it yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, but like I haven't seen all of the original Voltron. I guess like Voltron 84. There's a bunch of different versions, and then the version we got was like spliced together from other things. It's complicated. But long story short...
No, on Netflix, Voltron 84 is just a collection of episodes.
Yeah, I watched those, but I'm saying I haven't seen the full original series. But even what we have as quote-unquote the original series is not the original. It's like a crazy edited version.
Well, I mean, pretty much all North American Japanese imports were.
Yeah. No, agreed. But this season of the Netflix Voltron seems specifically about trying to push the pieces around to get it into line with what Voltron started as. Because, like, the first two seasons are almost like what the show would be like if they had just made it from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, all the lions match the color of the pilots, which is not how it was in the old stuff. And now they're, like, mixing it around. It's I'm hearing myself explaining it, and it's garbage. Not a lot happens, but what does happen is, like, structural. And there's only 7 episodes of it, and it's not like it's not charming. I still like the characters. There's still good action scenes and stuff. But it feels very... like they're plotting out, we have to move this character to this lion, and this character needs to learn this fact, and then we need to move these people here.
I think what a lot of people need to understand about cartoons in the 1980s was that you basically started from, how are we going to sell as many toys as possible? Like, that was your backstory. That was it. If you were lucky, you got like 15 minutes, because a lot of cartoons in the 80s too were divided up into 2 parts. You'd get these like one episode would be 2 15-minute vignettes, basically. So if you were lucky, a show like Voltron or Dino Riders or Bionic 6 or something like that, you would get like half of the episode. The first half of the first episode would be like, and everything's in place to sell toys. Like that's it. And then immediately after that, it was pretty much rote for rote. The bad guy's got a plan. We have to stop him. We did. Yeah. Ask your parents. And like that was it. Like that was, oh man, you guys have it so good with cartoons these days. There's like plot development and character, and if there are toys, they're usually a secondary concern, Now it's all like, ooh, download the app. But like like cartoons back in the 80s were trash. They were so trashy, and that's one of the reasons why I still to this day don't have a problem with the original Michael Bay Transformers movie, because it, like its source material, is trash. The other movies are horrible.
Sorry,
Transformers 2 and onward are just brain decaying laser beams that just suck gray matter out of your skull through your eyeballs.
And also military-industrial complex propaganda, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, but over and above that, like the actual source material in the 80s was just bum. And but it worked. I still have my Voltron toy.
Oh,
with
shit.
all, like, the lions that fucking fit together and shit like that. Because all you need to do is sit like a 5 to 7-year-old kid down in front of 15 minutes of that shit. And they're like, whoa, fuck, giant lions turn into a huge robot with a sword? Mom! Because it was just better than any other toys that were being advertised as cartoons. That was all you needed, right? So yeah, this whole concept of Voltron actually being like, hey, wait, how did these guys get there? Is something where I'm actually like, wow.
Yeah.
Stuff is happening.
There's actual storytelling, which is nice. It's just I came away from the season feeling disappointed. I mean, I sat down and watched it all in one sitting. It was like 2 hours long because there's 7 20-minute episodes or something, and a lot of it felt like shuffling around pieces that I cared about, but I was more interested in seeing like develop than move, I guess, if that makes any sense. So yeah, definitely I think the weakest season of Voltron, but I think also probably important because like going forward...
Some forward motion would have been good instead of lateral movements, which is largely what I think Season 3 kind of was.
Yeah.
Holding pattern and just like... It reminded me of castling, which is a chess move. That's my second golden nugget of the episode, everybody. Take that one, put it in a card, and send it to your dying grandma. She'll love you for the rest of her life.
Which isn't long.
I understood that reference.
Jesus. Yeah, so Voltron, it's good. The season was weird. I bet there's some behind-the-scenes reason. Like, I bet somebody on staff wanted it to be longer, but there was like, oh, let's do the money this way. Like, I bet. That's the boring stuff about making entertainment.
There's almost always an explanation.
Yeah.
It's just when we never get it.
Johnny, when you mentioned Bionic 6, I didn't know what that was, so I looked it up.
Right.
And all I want to say about that is that one of the characters is named Professor Dr. Amadeus Sharp, Ph.D., and I just love that so much.
I still remember that theme song. Bionic 6, ooh. Ooh.
I'm definitely naming my next dog everything you just said. Professor Dr. Amadeus Mozart. What was it?
Professor Dr. Amadeus Sharp, Ph.D. Yeah. I feel like you really only need to be doctor or professor. You don't need... It would be like, going, hello, I am Dr. Mr. Leon. It's like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I guess that's the joke.
Yeah, I mean, it is. But also, if I get a doctorate, I'm going to make people call me Dr. Reverend Yorsky. And they'll have to, or I won't talk to them. I won't acknowledge their existence. This show is going to become very difficult to record.
Okay. I mean, it already is. So...
Zing.
Yeah, on myself. There. So
okay, I'm gonna help us. I'm gonna move us momentum wise.
Great.
So I watched one more Netflix thing. That's the theme this week. Are you guys aware of Glow?
I am, but I
Glow's
haven't
on my
seen it
list.
yet.
Okay,
but I got hijacked because Wet Hot American Summer 10 years later came out.
I'm playing fucking chicken with that show. Like we're going at each other very fast, and I think I'm gonna blink because I want to watch it, but also I have problems with cringe comedy. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be difficult.
It features probably, I think, one of my favorite misdirection gags of all time.
That's good.
I can't tell you anything about it because I lost my shit for like 10 whole minutes on this one stupid joke.
Yeah, I'll have to get wait until I'm feeling particularly brave to watch that. But I watched Glow, which stands for
Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling.
It does, which I did not know was a real thing. I learned a lot because Netflix also has a documentary on the real thing that happened. Mm-hmm. Which was for anyone who doesn't know, which was a professional wrestling thing that started in the late 80s. It was all women, and it was like part sketch comedy, part wrestling. and then it ended abruptly in the early 90s because of boring money reasons. But apparently they were huge, like enormously popular. The documentary has like clips of them on all the big talk shows. Like they're being like referenced in pop culture and stuff. Like it was huge. Like I was not born / 1 year old when it happened, so I have no memory of this. This is all news to me. But I watched the show first, which is an incredibly far afield fictionalization. Like they don't use any of the names. They've changed all the facts. They only have like the basic premises of the wrestling personas and the basic idea, which is women wrestling. Nothing else is retained, but it's a good show. It's very Genji Cohen, who did Weeds and Orange is the New Black. And it's very, very similar to those shows where it's like there's a very flawed, kind of shitty white woman protagonist who makes a lot of mistakes, but you're supposed to root for her anyway. And then people insult each other by calling each other celebrity names and stuff. So like if you like Genji Cohen stuff, you're going to love it. And I did enjoy it. But what's crazy to me is when I watched the documentary and I was like, I think the real story is actually more interesting. And the season 1 of the show ends like right as they go to air, so they haven't got into the fame or anything. But watching the documentary, like these people went through basically emotional, psychological abuse to make this show. Not to mention the physical stuff. Like one lady had her arm broken in half, so like one woman had her two toes amputated. Like multiple people who were on that show can't walk anymore. Like it was fucked up. And also the guy who was behind it was apparently a monster. Like he refused to be interviewed for the show, but the way he's portrayed, or like, you know, his version is portrayed in the fictional show by Mark Maron, who's he does a very good job of making this character come to life, but he's the most punchable, slimy dickbag, which is also, I guess, very Genji Cohen. If you know about like Porn Stash and Orange is the New Black and stuff, it's like that character. It's just like slimy man with inexplicable power over women who is just shitty and never really faces any real consequences. And you guys haven't seen this, so it's like hard to have a back and forth there. But it's something where if you like Orange is the New Black, I think you'll find a base amount of enjoyment in it. And then there's like the thing on top of it, which is like this actually kind of happened, which is interesting, although it's not accurately represented.
Well, Orange is the New Black is based on an actual memoir as well, so it too actually kinda happened.
Kind of. That's even far. I think my understanding is that's even farther afield. Like they
apparently
like,
after
bananas.
The first season especially, everything just goes like, nope, doing our own thing.
That's barely related at all. But yeah, that's a good point. Where it's like taking things that actually happened, and also, I mean, all of her stuff also, it has a lot of like perspectives of women of color, and it does get into like racism and sexism and stuff. But they also play like, I'm trying to think of a way to not make this sound mean. Like kind of a South Park thing where it's like, can you believe we went there? Like in the new Orange is the New Black, there's like all the women start like sexually assaulting guards. And in Orange is the New, in Glow, there's like a whole, Jesus, that's like even hard to explain. There's a whole like miscarriage running joke that goes on for like a long time. And it's like, it's transgressive comedy that should exist. I'm definitely not saying that's not a thing anyone should do, but it's also it's very core to like all of these programs, I think. So, that didn't come off as glowing as I was expecting. Glowing. I like the show, and I also like the documentary, and I'm glad I learned about these things. And also,
would you recommend watching the documentary before the show? Or do you think it would mitigate my enjoyment of the fictionalization?
That's a good question, because when I watched Glow, I was like, oh, damn, this was really good. I wonder what really happened. And then I watched the documentary, and now I have all these conflicting thoughts. So I think watching the documentary first will hamper your enjoyment of the fictionalized thing. That is my assumption.
Because I don't want to not like anything that Alison Brie is in.
Yeah.
I just want to watch that and be like, yeah.
Yeah. I almost like said some spoiler stuff. Like there's there's a lot going on in the show, and I liked it a lot. But now, having just explained this to you and heard the tone of my own voice, there's I guess there's something that's bothering me about the choices they made, and it's not like a comment about the quality so much as well, if I did it, I would have done it this way. Did you know I have several podcasts? I think I know a thing or two about writing. Anyway.
Okay. All these years, Austin, and we remain so humble. I'm so proud of us.
It is interesting to get the kind of a perspective on wrestling, though, because as has been established many times, I know very little about it, and the characters in the show also know very little about it. And we watched the documentary. They didn't even tell the women they were casting that it was for a wrestling show. They're just like, we need women, come try out. And then they just started throwing people around, and people got hurt. And it's I
kind of get the impression that goes on in Hollywood more than you might think, though.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of slimy tactics, but it's it's one thing to kind of know it peripherally, and then to watch several hours of TV about it. And it's also there's a scene where one of the people in the fictionalized version is a soap opera actress, and she's like, oh, it's a soap opera, and it's that's the appeal of wrestling, is my understanding, is that all of the storylines and the feuds and the big expressive drama. And once you start watching it like that, I think that's what makes wrestling fun. But they haven't really got to that, because the first season of the show is about them getting cast and learning how to wrestle while people make gross jokes and stuff. So,
right.
All right.
Yeah. Mark Maron, too much mustache. Stop it, dude.
Okay.
I'll make a note of that.
Okay.
You would think I would be the one who actually watched this show first, but I'm still catching up on shows I already watch before I can start shows, new shows. Mm-hmm. So I will get to it.
And also, you have actual wrestling to watch.
That is true. I just watched 2 hours of it right before we did this show, and I'm going to watch at least 1 hour of it tomorrow, and then 6. Sunday?
Did anybody's body get slammed today?
Several.
That's my favorite part.
Nice.
Remember we talked about Daryl, the cat stuffed animal that was destroyed by Bad Luck Fale a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Well, good news, because Daryl is alive. That was only one of his 9 lives, and he re-debuted a few days ago. And everyone was very happy.
Good
and
for
all
Daryl.
was right with the world.
I think you mean rebued. No? Fine.
Good. All right.
I thought this was a safe space.
It is, Austin. We didn't judge. Although I guess in some circles, silence is the harshest judge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Is there, Johnny, do you have anything this week?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Because I started this last week, I think it was, or maybe the week before, but we lost last week, where I was like, hey, everybody, come on a journey with me through my movie collection. Because I was talking, I think it was last week, am I right?
Probably, I think so.
Okay, well, I was talking to the guys last week about how I started watching movies with Mikey, maybe a month or two ago.
Yeah, a highlight is when we both agree 30 Days of Night is awesome.
Yeah. So, and the thing is that I own a lot of movies because I'm a collector for weird things, but then not other weird things. And so I have a lot of movies, but the thing is I don't rewatch movies unless I get presented with a social situation where I'm like, you haven't seen Mary and Max? We've got to watch it right now. Come over to my house and I will make you popcorn.
We did this to Leon last week when he admitted he'd never seen Lethal Weapon and has no intention of doing so. Sorry to call you out, dude. What the?
I'm never going to unless someone invites me over for popcorn.
Okay.
So last week I talked about how I've been rewatching my movies because I kind of want to enjoy them again. I own the license to watch them at least. So last week I talked about how I watched Pi, 12 Monkeys. I missed 3:10 to Yuma. I watched the 3:10 to Yuma remake with Russell Crowe and Christian Bale. 30 Days of Night. We talked about those last week. And yes, Austin and I agreed that 30 Days of Night well stands up as a movie that is way better than it was appreciated at the time. Super casting and just excellent camera work. So this week I watched a few more. I watched 500 Days of Summer.
Have you've seen that before, right? So
yeah,
okay.
yeah. It was one of those movies that I bought because I was like, this looks like it's right up my alley. It's Joseph Gordon-Levitt and like, I'm still not sure how to pronounce her first name properly.
Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah, is it just Zoe?
I'm pretty sure.
All right.
I've never seen the movie, but I am aware that she exists.
And I remember being a bit skeeved out by it, like the first time I saw it, and subsequent times. But this time I watched it, and I was like, wow, this is a way better movie if he's the villain.
Yeah, okay. I'm so glad we got here. I saw 500 Days of Summer in theaters, and like coming out of it, and like people were talking about it, and it was hugely divisive, and it kind of has like a Fight Club thing where some people come out of it thinking one character is supposed to be the good guy, and it's not what you think. The movie is the opposite of what you think it's supposed to be.
She is totally upfront with him about like, you know, what it is that she wants and what she's looking for, and he is just like doesn't listen, and it breaks his fucking heart. And it's like, you doofus, you moron, you idiot.
I don't think we had the vocabulary to talk about it when it came out, or at least I didn't. Maybe some of you were very woke, but he's a nice guy, basically. Yeah. He's just like, I did everything for this girl. I'm the lead of this romantic comedy. I deserve her. I win. And then he doesn't, and he's furious.
Yes, he's furious and broken, and it's just kind of like, you know, there's at the very beginning of the movie, his friends are around him, and they're like, dude, what did you expect? And I was like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
Right, this is her story. We're just seeing it from his point of view. You're a dick. Go home.
It's like a Rorschach test for your opinion about women. Like if you come out of that being like, what a bitch, like, dude, go home, take a look at the mirror, sort your shit out. Because
it was much better. It was much better, like, watching it, having seen it that way. You know, like having a couple of years on my odometer, it sort of allowed me to change my perspective like that, because I wasn't that young man anymore. You know, so that was kind of nice and sort of liberating, that I was actually able to absorb somebody else's perspective, even when like the whole movie is told basically from his point of view, more or less.
Yeah, there's an argument that it's too subtle with that. Like it could have done with maybe Driving It Home, because I think it does leave itself open to some gross interpretations. But yeah, once you are ready to try to look at it from a different angle and to not fall for the main character's perspective, I think it opens it up to a much better movie.
Yes. I also got through About a Boy with Hugh Grant and a very young Nicholas Hoult, which I bought because I was all about Nick Hornby in the 2000s, the author. Who wrote, among other things, the novel About a Boy, and High Fidelity, which is probably his most famous work. So that I watched, and it's okay. You know, it's nothing special. I'm not gonna sing its praises or anything like that. It was kind of perfectly enjoyable about, I don't know, finding meaning in just like day-to-day life and things like that. So. But yeah, very young Nicholas Hoult. And then I watched a double bill of A Better Tomorrow and A Better Tomorrow 2.
Did it get better from the previous Tomorrow?
The second Tomorrow was not really that much better, but it was certainly more settled. It was less chaotic. It was a more serene Tomorrow. And then at the end of the second one, I don't know if it gets better at all, actually. It's bloody. It's a very bloody Tomorrow. That much is true. Lots of blood. I don't know. Have you guys watched much of John Woo's early cinematography?
Nope.
Filmography? Movies? Back before anybody gave him any money whatsoever to make like Wind Talkers or Mission Impossible 2. You should have killed me when you had the chance. White doves everywhere. No?
Unfortunately not.
No?
I've seen Mission Impossible too.
Well, yeah, of course.
I mean, like, have you watched any of his old Hong Kong stuff? Hard Boiled, The Killer.
No.
No?
Not even a little bit.
It's so amazing how, like, it seems when you give certain directors less money, that they're actually like, hey, let me whip this up into something amazing. And then you're like, here's like $5 million. And they're like, let me make you the most expensive shit sandwich on the face of the planet.
Yeah,
and that is
that's
just
I mean,
like,
that's the... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's just him all over. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that's the thing. Like, if you force someone to think creatively, and sometimes that happens on a low budget, something impressive can come about. And if you give someone too much power, they can't confine it. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we talked about how restraint breeds creativity.
Sometimes, yeah.
And also, like, some people just don't make transitions well, like, you know, from talkies into, like, color, or from 2D games to 3D games. Remember Sonic? Hey, guys, this is topical. There's a new Sonic game out. Everyone says it's really good. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. But, like, the people who made the first 3 Sonic games were probably very talented at what they did, and then they tried to do 3D, and that fell apart very fast. And what I'm trying to say is John Woo is the Sonic the Hedgehog of cinema.
I will stand behind that statement.
Yeah, you heard it here.
It's great.
Before I get into questions, I did want to say one more thing to you, Leon, specifically.
Oh.
We love and appreciate you.
Yes, we do.
No, I'm kidding.
Thanks.
That's not the thing I wanted to say. Last week I talked about how your They Live video was probably your best because of the just manhandling you handed our favorite president. It's very good. This week you did a video on Indiana Jones, and I had some Bible questions for you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Sorry.
I have to. Don't make me get my notes. I don't want to do this live.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to ambush you. It's just I figured I could have put this in your comments, or I could turn it into.
Oh, I would not. I definitely would not have approved that comment.
Or I was thinking also we could just turn it into content for the people. Okay.
Well, let's see if I delete this segment of the podcast.
You wiener.
Tell me what do you want to talk about?
Okay, so in your video, I think one of your arguments, you have many, but is that in the film Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, they consider the Ark a weapon, and it like vaporizes a bunch of dudes. And in the Bible, it's a symbol of the covenant with God, and they carry it around, and it's like a metaphor for like how God has their back, and then the walls of Jericho fall because God is on their side.
There's more to it than that. I mean, you could argue. I think there was a thing about the Philistines where how do I put this? I talked about it briefly because it's significantly more complicated than that, and even more complicated that I could get into in the episode that I wanted to deal with. I literally read an entire book just now.
Between my comment, my question and your answer,
that focused very heavily on it, and it is. You know what? Not even there's so much more to talk about with the Ark of the Covenant.
Well,
the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments aren't even the only thing that's in it.
Yeah,
there's other stuff. There's other stuff in it. They don't even talk about that in the movie.
Like a Glock, a single OxyContin.
God, that'd be a fucking plot twist.
They put it in something that the people think was a tent at first, and then it was in a temple, and then it is like mysteriously. There is nothing in the Bible that says the Ark. I'm sorry, and then the Ark disappeared. Yeah. People think the Ark disappeared because it just stopped mentioning.
Yeah.
And there's the point I'm trying to make is that you could say that the Ark is a, I'm using scare quotes, weapon, but not like the weapon that Indiana Jones had over his shoulder when he was trying to blow it up with a rocket launcher. What I'm trying to say is it's not a weapon in the sense that it is not an object independent of God. Because that's sort of the issue. It's not like
no, I agree.
God
I agree with you there.
Right.
That's not independent of God.
I know. I'm sorry. The point I was trying to make is that when people think of magic objects and related to the Bible, they kind of think of them the way that magic objects appear in fiction, where it's like I have a wand and I can just utilize it. Whereas things that God gives people in the Bible are not like, oh, you know, I don't have any control over this anymore. It's just yours now. Because it has something. There's a reason in the Bible where there's a thing about it very strongly condemns magic using and witchcraft, and the reason for that is because just the very idea of it like diminishes the concept that God is omnipotent.
Yeah. So, Leon, are you suggesting here that magical objects or powers that God imbues on people are heavily metaphorically stilted to say that once you believe in me, the power of the Lord will carry you through to be mighty?
Look. I realize I'm talking about a bunch of different things at once, and I'm also like trying to tiptoe around the fact that I don't actually believe in any of this. But the point, but when I talk about things like this in an episode that is heavily about religion, I try to give it the reverence that the films and that the religion gives it. Not just me saying, "Oh, I mean, I can't. I'm not going to make an episode that says, you know, these objects aren't magical because magic isn't real."
Oh man, I just got an idea for my first YouTube show: the Skeptic Community Renegade Cut.
Oh my god!
You just get every movie with magic in it 0 out of 10. Right. What I was trying to get to, Leon, before we went off on
please go.
Entire thing.
Please tell me what you were talking about because I have too much in my head right now when it comes to the Ark of the Covenant that I can't focus.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot. That's why I didn't want to ambush you. I had like a specific question. It's all good. The way I had interpreted the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, when they open it, they look inside, they all get nuked except for Indiana Jones and Marion. Is literally, from my perspective, an adaptation of Samuel 6:19, in which people look into the Ark of the Covenant and get blasted, like it happens in the Bible.
I understand that, but that's the point I'm trying to make is they didn't open the Ark and then the Ark was booby trapped and got blasted. They opened the Ark and God decided they should be blasted. That's the point I'm trying to make, that the Ark is not a weapon. The Ark is just a thing that God is using.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm just curious if that changed your like arithmetic. If you consider that
not at all. In fact, if anything, it bolsters what I said.
Okay, and also, I mean, the other thing you said was about like magic in the Bible and like how witchcraft is bad. Yes, you should not suffer a witch to live. Stuff like that. Yep. I'm curious about like Aaron's rod in Exodus that turns into a snake. Like, how do you feel about that vis-a-vis?
Okay, all right. First of all, that whole Aaron stuff is weird because
listen, Aaron. First of all, fuck you.
No, because Aaron was Aaron. The importance of Aaron was a later addition to the Bible. Because one of the tribes that was writing one part of the Bible descended from Aaronid priests, and they wanted to make Aaron a bigger deal.
He's a self-insert OC, yeah.
Like there's a lot of that stuff. In there. So like, yeah, I mean, you could say, I'm sorry, but I would say that biblical scholars, or even just people who just believe in the Bible as literal truth, would not say that Aaron was a magician. I would say that God made that happen.
Okay. Which is a totally fair interpretation, which brings me to my final point, which is what do you think about the Witch of Endor?
Dude.
First of all, she's called the Witch of Endor, which is phenomenal.
I know. Well,
second of all, I think she's magic.
All right. First of all, the whole witch thing is a later translation. Yeah. I want that to be clear. Most of those suffer witch to live and stuff like that. It was, I think, more closely resembled the word what we would call sorcerer. Mm-hmm. The word witch gives it a negative connotation.
Yeah. I just want to talk about the Witch of Endor. No one ever talks about how cool of a name that is.
Look, I'm sure. I mean.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about the Witch of Endor.
I'll say
I can't quote Bible chapter and verse all the time, so like I'm noping out of this one.
Okay. I'm sorry. That's all good. Let's see here.
Oh, you know what? Now I feel bad. When I talked about the Bible, I'm sorry. The Ark is not a weapon. I should have showed a clip of Indy with the rocket launcher to further my point. I don't think I showed that clip.
I did like the episode. I just like talking about religion, and this felt like a good transition.
No, it's fine.
Can we agree, though? Can we agree that Ewoks: The Battle for Endor was a way better movie than Caravan of Courage and Ewok Adventure?
I'd have to rewatch them, but for the sake of just going with your joke, yes, Johnny, I sure do believe that. In fact, just fuck it. No. Just, God damn it.
Okay, so we're into questions now.
Anything about the Bible?
No.
See, I just say that because there was a witch queen of Endor in Ewoks: The Battle for... All right, I'm done now.
I'm almost certain that's where you got the name from. Silent Wind of Doom asks...
Absolutely.
Can we get Leon origins for the fast upcoming episode 200, or are we doing Johnny first? I feel like there's an expectation that every 100 episodes someone will tell their backstory now.
I worry that I've already told enough of it that there's no like hidden truth stuff. That's like there's no I like thinking about it right now. I think I've told all the interesting stories from my childhood. It was just, you know, I mean, some of it was good and some of it was bad. There's nothing like too scandalous, I don't think. There's no like cool Austin criminal past stuff that like by comparison.
Thank you for calling me cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. I don't know. I'd have to, if you gave me a lot of time to think of some interesting stories, I might be able to do something for episode 200. But I don't. Like there's no like when Austin would talk about like some of the stuff from his past, he wouldn't always talk about it directly, and that was fine because some of it's super personal. So then when we did Austin Origins, there was like a lot of stuff that had only sort of been like hinted upon during the many years of our friendship.
Friendship
that was
foreshadowing,
like,
if you will.
Yeah, that was like exposed and very interesting. Whereas I'm not sure there's like a lot of great stories left. I mean, there's no reason not to now because like everyone I know from my past, including like close relatives, are just not part of my life anymore. You know, that a lot of stuff happened there. I guess that's a story, but that's not even ancient. That's more recent. And you know what? I'm not even sure I can tell that entire story because that's not all my story. It might not be appropriate. And I don't mean because of my family involved. Like I don't care. I mean like other people who are still part of my life. Yeah. I guess I'm sorry. I spent a lot of long time on this question when really the only answer is like maybe. I'll think about it. Sorry.
Okay. Next question from Cyretha, who probably needs a nickname. Leon, any predictions for SummerSlam this weekend? Parentheses.
Ooh.
Wrestling.
Thanks. Needed that clarified. Because this weekend is also going to be the Pancake SummerSlam breakfast, which I'm really excited about.
Okay, so I don't know if I have predictions, but I do have hopes. One of my hopes is that Shinsuke Nakamura wins the WWE Championship because I feel like, you know what? I say that, and yet. Part of me thinks we've gone far enough with the current champion. He shouldn't have been champion at all. But he's sort of like he's a guy who shouldn't have been champion because he's not that good. But then they gave him it, and he's just really trying very hard. And I probably would like him as a person, just not as a performer. So I feel bad about that. But eventually they're gonna have to take it off him, and I hope it's Nakamura. Brock Lesnar may or may not be leaving WWE. And if so, you got to get the title off of him on his brand. I hope it's Samoa Joe. So those are my hopes. By the way, as I was thinking about wrestling, I have an answer to your which question, Austin.
The way your brain works.
Sorry, I'm going back to this. Sometimes like things just take a while and then they click in my brain. The real answer to why there's inconsistency about magic in the Bible is the same reason that there is inconsistency about monotheism in the Bible, because it was not a thing that was right away.
Yeah.
It was something that was like finger quotes decided upon later on, but couldn't actually be taken out of the Bible because people would notice. Yeah. They'd be like, wait a minute, so many of our stories are gone. They couldn't do that.
God is referred to as Elohim, which is plural. Oops.
Yeah, Yeah, which and a lot of this is actually going to be in the movie. I'll have to check my notes, but that is the real answer to that question. Sorry, I felt like I didn't answer that correctly, and now that it was in my head, I had to spew it out.
You
Anyway.
never need an excuse to talk to me about the Witch of Endor. You can at any time. You can call me at 3 a.m. and be like, Austin, I had a thought about the Witch of Endor. I need to tell you.
You just do it in low tones.
Yeah. If anybody listening, slide into my DMs. Tell me your thoughts about the Witch of Endor.
Nice. But no, back to SummerSlam. There's a 2-hour pre-show because there are so many matches on this card. And then the regular card will be also super long. So I'm going to spend like almost all day watching this thing. I'm excited to do it. And that is it.
Awesome. Next question. Miran Bati asks, favorite game where you get to kill Nazis?
Oh, there are so many good ones.
This feels like something we all need just for catharsis right now, just to think about.
I mean, pretty much every Indiana Jones game was all right. The only one where you didn't get to kill Nazis, as I recall, was the Infernal Machine. So that's off the list.
Wait,
but like,
it's my understanding is that most Indiana Jones games have sucked butt.
No, actually, the adventure games were pretty damn good. Fate of Atlantis was really good. Even they're like, after the Tomb Raider ripped off Indiana Jones, and then Indiana Jones ripped off Tomb Raider again. What was it called? The Last Emperor, I think, or something like that. It doesn't say that there. Hold on. It's gonna be a second here. I think it is The Last Emperor. Indiana Jones and the Last Emperor. The Emperor's Tomb. Sorry, Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb. Was a pretty decent Tomb Raider-esque kind of game. It was all right, but I'm sure there's like 1 or 2 of them that were pretty shitty. Like the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade action game, because there was an action game and an adventure game. The action game was not very good. There was that one for the Wii too. I never played that. I don't know that. But definitely the Fate of Atlantis, the Last Crusade adventure game, and Emperor's Tomb. I'll get my seal of approval. Wolfenstein.
Yeah, Wolfenstein's
New Order.
the easy one. I was thinking about saying it, and then I remembered Metro 2033.
That's right.
Yeah,
and its sequel, Last Light.
Yeah, I don't know if there's as many Nazis in the sequel, because that's about other things. The original is much more about like post-apocalyptic Nazis versus post-apocalyptic communists.
Yeah.
And probably the best scene in that game, and it really is a scene more than like a level, is there's an all-out war between the communists and the Nazis, and you can just kill your way through both, but I think there's an achievement if you just sneak through and just let them kill each other, which was like really intense to get. And like I remember doing that. That sticks out to me as like a really great moment of that game. And it's a very good game. I think that's my answer, is Metro.
I don't know what my actual favorite is, though. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I was expecting Leon to step up. He's like, video what? Hold on, let me Google this.
No,
I mean,
sorry. I don't have any feelings about this. Sorry.
There are tons of like World War II shooters, you know.
Yeah.
Because that was like a big thing. The original Medal of Honor, the original Call of Duty, like Battlefield 1942, and even strategy games as well, like Company of Heroes, or it wasn't a strategy game, but no, what is it? Not Brothers in Arms.
Yeah.
The Brothers in Arms games were really good. The Saboteur was a really satisfying one.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, man.
I mean, the important thing is that you kill them.
Yeah, and there are so many good ones. Even Return to Castle Wolfenstein. I mean, I know that everybody talks about how like the new Wolfenstein games, like the Old Blood and the New Order, are really good, but Return to Castle Wolfenstein was a really good one. That was the one that I want to say Raven did, but I think I'm mistaken. Yeah, they're everywhere. I mean, it's a cliche now. We've gone away from the whole World War II game thing because everybody was getting sick of it for a little while, but there's tons of them, man. And most of them are pretty good.
Yeah, it's coming back into vogue just because time is cyclical and also because it feels important now.
It's a little relevant, you know?
A little bit.
Yeah. Just a touch.
Yeah. So I got a question here. Bright Marsh asks Austin, what commander general do you use? Which is just, I apologize to Leon, I'm just going to do this one. Magic the Gathering is a card game, which is normally played with a 60 card deck, and you can have 4 copies of any given non-basic land. So, what usually means there's like 10 or 11 different cards you use in a given deck, and you use like 3 or 4 copies because you want them. If they're in your deck, they're important. You got to have them. Another way to play the game is called Commander, and it's you have 100 cards, and everyone is unique. It used to be called Elder Dragon Highlander because there can only be one. It's because you can only have one. The point of the format is that it adds a lot more randomness because the chance of getting any one card is 1%, as opposed to in a 60 card deck with 4 copies, which is, I guess, 1 out of 15. Math is hard, right? Yeah. 4 out of 60 is 1 out of 15. Anyway, so it's much more random, but the one thing you get in a commander is you have a general, which is a card you always have access to. And so the question is, like, what is my commander when I play Commander? And that was a long explanation that's going to mean nothing to most people, but the answer is I usually play Azorius, which is blue-white, and I have a couple different configurations I do. Geist of Saint Traft, Afara, God of the Polis, and Grand Augustine IV are like the 3 commanders I really like. So it's all the same deck. I just switch stuff out if I'm going like one commander to the next, but it's very flexible because I always play the same color combinations. That's the answer. Johnny, have you ever played Commander? I know you played Magic, but
years ago, man.
Yeah.
When I was working at the game store, Commander had just become like an official form of play. Because previously it was like the tabletop version of a mod.
Yeah.
It was just something that guys had kind of gotten together and been like, wouldn't it be cool if we did this?
Yeah.
And then, like any smart business, they were like, holy shit, people are playing this new form of the game, and it's just fucking like blowing everybody's socks off. So they've actually made like official commanders for the game and stuff like that. So that was my introduction to it. And yeah, I did play, but I cannot for the life of me remember who I used.
I think the story is that it was judges for tournaments made it up, and there's they only, when it started, the commanders were all the Elder Dragons, which is why it was called Elder Dragon Highlander. And then when Wizards of the Coast adopted it as a official thing, they changed it to Commander. That's like their name for it. And like, but if you actually go to like, you know, to look up like a Reddit for it, it'll be like Reddit/EDH for Elder Dragon Highlander and not Commander, because that's where it started. Yeah, so like a mod. I never thought of it as a mod, but it's definitely a mod for this game.
It pretty much is. It's a tabletop mod.
But it's rapidly growing, like to the point where it's basically just as popular, depending on what like circles you run, and as the actual game as designed, which is pretty cool. And the reason I play it is because if I try to play like modern or standard with like my friends who play, like my shit is so tuned. Like I'm gonna win on like turn 3 before they get to do anything. And where in Commander, it's like we're gonna be here for an hour. Everyone gets snacks. Like there's 0% chance. Like you can play it at a higher level, but it's just so much randomness to it, and it's so hard to get like the exact card you need because the chance is so low. Anyway, I'm sorry for inflicting that on Leon.
It's fine. I was just reading
stuff.
I
bet.
Stuff that was more important.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So other questions. So Bright Marsh also asked, did Leon obliterate the lost episode? This not...
I can confirm that it is obliterated.
Okay. That's important. Toshiro Kuro, Question Guru, asks, what's something you regret from school? Story or class choice? This is very broad, but I'm trying to think, because I think it is an interesting question, because I'm sure if I could do school again, there are different classes I could take. But I don't know if there's any I like outright regret.
in my case, like I'd be worried about playing the time machine game with my university experience, because like although basically what all the things that I did in the past led me to right now, and things are good now, I might have a very different opinion a year from now when things are bad, and I might think like, oh, if only I had majored in blank.
Leon Butterfly Effect Thomas.
But no, I mean, looking my college experience, I didn't take advantage of some of the things I wanted to, and not just because some of my faculty advisors were awful, and steered me on a very wrong path about how to get certification for being a teacher. But I wanted to be really good at my one thing, which was literature. So almost all of my electives were related to that. And there weren't like a lot of things like, ooh, I'll take Esperanto. There was no like, I'll do this just for fun because it's part of my general education requirement. It would, if there was an English related thing that I could take as part of my, electives, then I was probably going to take that as well. And that made me knowledgeable about the thing I wanted to do, I guess. But I do kind of regret, not taking certain courses that might have been interesting on other topics. So, like more philosophy, for example. I had to learn a lot of this stuff on my own after college. I only really super got into that later. Yep. Yeah, that's probably what I wanted to say.
I mean, this is tough though, because I feel like most of the things I regret from school have nothing to do with the school part. It's just like personal stuff, which isn't like super exciting. It's like, oh, I wish I would have made friends with that guy. Like no one listening gives a fuck. So like the only interesting thing I can think of is that like my last year of undergrad, I was taking one more class than I needed to graduate, and I was crushing all those other classes. Like no matter what, I was going to get an A basically, like at the rate it was going. And so one class, I would have had to put actual work in, but I didn't actually need it to graduate, and I could have dropped it, but then I would have had to give financial aid back. So I just didn't and did bad. Like I got a bad grade. It's like the only time I've ever failed a class, but it didn't matter because I didn't need it to graduate, and I got to keep the financial aid.
Okay. Well,
which means I did.
Like, that was a practical choice.
No, it was the quote unquote right choice. But I think maybe if magically could redo it, like it wouldn't hurt to just actually try, because that's like, it doesn't reflect great on me as a person that I had an opportunity that a lot of people don't have. Right. And I chose to stay up to 3 replaying Half-Life, which is I think what I did.
What was the course?
It was a film course.
Oh.
So I had to write like what really came down to is I had to write like a 10 or 12 page paper or something about a bunch of films, and I just was like, or I could play Half-Life. So I played Half-Life. That's the thing that comes to mind. But most of the other stuff is just like, oh man, I was a real dick that one time at school. Like I could have not been a dick. So Johnny, you want to kick anyone?
Nah, I'm
stuff.
I'm kind of with Leon that I mean, if I had gone back and decided to tailor everything that I had done in school to outfit my life as I see it now, a bunch of things would have changed. Like, honestly, if I hadn't gone to theater school, if I hadn't done that, I probably would not be doing this podcast right now. Because
you'd be way more famous. You'd have a whole pop music career.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's I'd be putting my dick on it.
Yeah. God, I hope so.
So yeah, like I don't really regret any of the things that I've done. Cause yeah, I guess going back and making different decisions it would really influence what I've done right now. And while there are some certain things in my life that especially have happened to me in the last year that I'm like, man, I wish I could change that. That's an awfully short-sighted view, The goal is to take whatever you have and come out the other side as a better person. And if you can hold on to that goal, it doesn't matter what you did. For me, I guess it would be like 17 years ago now. You know, just as long as I can come out the other side a better person. So, like, I can look back on the good times that I had and be like, yeah, I think I learned some good things, you know? Like, because I didn't just do theater, you know, like I did literature as well, and a couple philosophy courses, and as well as some very interesting, like, history of theater courses and stuff like that. Like, it wasn't just about, like, put on your unitard, dance! So, no, I learned some really great things, and I don't know, I usually feel pretty good about who I am on a day-to-day basis.
That's good.
Nice. Yeah. I like you guys. You're cool and you have cool thoughts. Thank you for sharing.
We have
I'm
fun.
so tired.
It's fine.
We have fun.
Yeah. You want to stop? Or do you have another one?
We're about out of time. I've got a question here that I'm just going to do. Ayla Hackley? I'm bad at pronunciation. Sorry for my bad mouth. Asks, have you ever listened to The Adventure Zone? I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, but it feels like something I should say again because it ends tomorrow. The Adventure Zone is a D&D podcast done by the McElroy brothers, and it's been going for like years, and they're finally finishing their first season, and I'm pretty excited about it. I think people have asked me before if it's like an inspiration for Dice Funk, and it's not, and it's also just not the same kind of show we do. Like, The Adventure Zone is very good. It's very funny, funnier than I could ever imagine being. But it's a story that the DM is telling, and everyone else is, like, there to riff on it. Like, it's always going to be one thing, and Dice Funk is, like, it's like story prompts I give to the people. I'm like, all right, so imagine X, what do you do? And then they just do it. So it's like a very, very different show, but I still recommend it. And by the time this episode of Word Funk is posted, like the whole first season will be available. So I recommend it. The Adventure Zone. It's a cool show. So if I haven't said it before, I'm saying it now.
All right.
Word. And I officially can't keep my eyes open anymore. That's an update on me of who I am, where I'm at.
Well, we should stop then. I just want to say very quickly that in the Book of Psalms, God stands in a divine assembly of other gods. See, this is not like debatable. Anyway, that's just wanted to throw that other thing out there.
Yeah.
Also,
also, King really Solomon was like arm deep in some other fucking deity shit too. First of all,
he was double dipping.
Look, God would not be jealous if there weren't other gods. It's like if you walk out of the Burger King and say, I'm going to go to the McDonald's across the street, they're only going to be worried if there is one there.
If you think about it, Jehovah's like a girlfriend who like goes through your phone to see who else you're texting, and it's like, if you don't trust me, why are we even together? If I'm, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
Oh man!
Also, why was the name of God in the Last Crusade Jehovah and not Yahweh?
Look, that's literally what I said in there. It's like, and Indiana knows God's name, although there are a lot of names. It's like, did they have to write it like the Latin version of this particular name? And how many people were in that cave? Because there are a lot of carvings, and
no one figured it out. Why would it? Yeah, why wouldn't it be? Why would it be Latin and not Hebrew? I think the point of this whole thing, Leon, is I actually agreed with everything you said. I just like razzing you.
No, that's good.
I'm pretty sure that the cave. I mean, I'm believing here that the cave was designed by the Grail monks.
Yeah, it was. It was in about 1200 AD.
So yeah.
Okay.
So that's how I see it as being. Oh, of course they picked the Latin name because motherfuckers don't speak Hebrew.
I would think it would have been Aramaic though, because that's the language that like New Testament people spoke, and they were like all about the accuracy with the cup. So,
look, maybe it's like one of those people who like say, "Of course Jesus was white. Why is the Bible in English?" You know, like,
those fucking white trash monks.
Yeah, maybe it's something like that. For more like serious and not funny thoughts on this, like this is the stuff that's going to be in the movie. And there you go. I hope everyone watches it, and I hope you've enjoyed Word Funk this week, because I'm almost positive I'm recording correctly. Yep, and I'm going to export it immediately. Anything you guys want to say before we go?
I sort of feel like if you spend more than 10 minutes designing a bottle to hold a commercial project, you have wasted a significant amount of your time.
Send all of your questions about the Witch of Endor to Sean Cronenfeld at channelawesome.com.
Oh, it's been a while.